Out onto the track for the concluding bumper. Will New Year's Eve round us off with another Geraghty winner? Here's Richard.
The Weatherbys champion bumper field brings down the curtain on day 2. Early on, Horatio Hornblower and Moscow Manon are pretty well to the fore. The grey Champagne Fever is also racing freely up the front rank. Just behind these racing is Clonbannon Lad on the outside of Sir Johnson, and between that pair the new one races in about 6th place early on. Racing in 7th is Cool George, who's up on the outside of Virginia Ash, who's settled in midfield. The pace is pretty generous, being set by Champagne Fever. Peak Sue and Jeski racing in mid-division. New Year's Eve's Black Jacket is right about halfway down the field, with Village Vic racing on the outside of the checks of the Romford Pele. Towards the outside is Circular Key. Yes Way Jose has about 4 behind at this early stage. If and But Why Not is 1, in company with Many Clouds. Glenwood Presence towards the back of the field with Piano Concerto. But it's Champagne Fever, the grey, who leads the turn away as they set out on their final circuit, with in 2nd place Horatio Hornblower in the pink and blue. Moscow Manon's red sleeves towards the inside, disputing 3rd place with Clonbannon Lad, and out a little wider Cool George in the pink and maroon as they turn away. Racing in about 6th place, the new one on the outside of Sir Johnson in the noseband. Virginia Ash comes next. Virginia Ash racing in midfield. New Year's Eve is holding midfield position as well as they make their journey towards the side of the racecourse. Royal Guardsman, another one who's currently sitting in midfield. So out in front, Champagne Fever it is who cuts out the running from Horatio Hornblower and Moscow Manon racing in 2nd and 3rd. Sir Johnson is still relatively handy in company with Clonbannon Lad, and out a little wider Cool George, who races in about 6th place. Royal Guardsman on the inside, just ahead of in about 8th or 9th place the new one. Towards the outer of that pair, racing in midfield, is Virginia Ash, who's with Jeski and New Year's Eve also in midfield. The checks of If and But Why Not comes next with Circular Key. Towards the back of the field, Glenwood Present is being ridden along. Village Vic is another one who's well back and being ridden at this stage. So they're making the turn and approaching the business end. Champagne Fever has made every yard so far. Horatio Hornblower on the outside of Moscow Manon, within 4th place Cool George. In 5th is Sir Johnson, just ahead of Clonbannon Lad. The grey Peak Sue's made ground, and having been right at the back early, Many Clouds round the outside in the Hemmings colours with the noseband is making good progress. Then behind these, If and But Why Not is another to have been on the move. New Year's Eve and Royal Guardsman, who just clipped heels there, Royal Guardsman, and was punched along as he was short of room. Round the outside, Circular Key is another to be making a little bit of ground. So Champagne Fever leads Horatio Hornblower. Towards the inside, Moscow Manon, the grey Peak Sue, and still making ground towards the outside is Many Clouds. New Year's Eve making significant progress towards the inside. The Black Jacket moving smoothly into about 4th or 5th place, and now moving even closer as they run downhill. Champagne Fever, New Year's Eve makes ground. Moscow Manon's always been there with Peak Sue. Behind these, Clonbannon Lad, Royal Guardsman, Jeski in the orange colours is another that's making ground. Towards the outside is Many Clouds as they begin the turn back towards home. Champagne Fever now being ridden along. New Year's Eve has travelled really well along with Peak Sue, and they're the closest pursuers. Moscow Manon is now ridden along. Likewise the new one, Royal Guardsman, up the inside rail has moved through into about 6th place. Yes Way Jose is staying on from a long way back as well. Champagne Fever, New Year's Eve on the right, Peak Sue on the left. They are the front 3 away from Royal Guardsman. Yes Way Jose, Moscow Manon, and behind these Jeski. Champagne Fever is proving very hard to pass in the centre. New Year's Eve is struggling to get by, so's Peak Sue. Champagne Fever by half a length from New Year's Eve, driven out towards the line. Champagne Fever driven out will make all tenaciously to win the bumper for the Mullins. Champagne Fever beat New Year's Eve and Peak Sue. Tied for 4th, Moscow Manon. The new one next, Yes Way Jose. And behind these in 7th, the Romford Pele stayed on late.
And they said Willie Mullins didn't have a good bumper horse this year. Well, he's not just got one, he's got a couple, because he's had the winner and the 3rd here, Champagne Fever and Peak Sue, and it is the bumper king within the Mullins yard, son Patrick, that has ridden Susanna and Rich Ritchie's Champagne Fever to success. And boy, oh boy, wasn't he brave. He's made every yard and gone a hell of a clip as well. He's fended off the gamble New Year's Eve. Barry Geraghty having to settle for, I think, 2nd here, though it is officially a photo between New Year's Eve and Peak Sue.